Shalom, shalom. I want to start by giving all praises to the Lord Yahweh Bahashem, Yahweh Shai Bahashem Kakadash. My name is Brother Napak from the Camp Prophets in Babylon down here in Tampa Bay, Florida. I want to give a double honor to elders and apostles of Great Millstone who teach and rule well. Peace and blessings to the hopeful elect and the ones listening in. And I want to get into a quick lesson. And my title's lesson, you cannot resist Yahweh's will or the Lord's will. All right? You can't resist the Lord's will. Okay? For if the Lord will it, it must be done. And that's just with everything, all our steps in our walk in this, in this life, really. The way we found this truth, the way we came across it, it was all of the Lord's will, and you couldn't resist it. It was meant for you to come upon it. It was ordained. All right. Same thing with 2/3 Jakes, man. They can't resist the will that the Lord has for them, to be filled to the nuclear flames. Same thing with Esau. We all have our own will. It's lucky we all have a purpose the Lord called us for, man. All right, that must be fulfilled. We all play a part in this movie that the Lord is creating. Now, I want to get this real quick. It's Jeremiah chapter 10 and verse 23 in the GNT. It says, Lord, I know that none of us are in charge of our own destiny. None of us have control over our own life. All right? So, none of us have charge of our own destiny, of our own future, what we're meant to be. We don't have control over that, man. Ultimately, because brothers, when you first came to this thing, or before you came into this truth, you had dreams and aspirations to be somebody different. Somebody different, to be a part of this world. All right? To be a man of this world. All right? But the Lord called you out of that to call you into the faith, into the knowledge, wisdom, and understanding. All right? So understanding that, we understand we didn't have control over our destiny. We didn't have control over the future of the things that we wanted, It was all of the Lord. Our walk. All right. The scripture says a man's going are of the Lord. And I got that scripture as well. I'll just bring it out afterwards, though. But it says none of us have control over our own life. So we don't have control over our own life, man. All right. We don't have control of where our next steps will go. All right. It's all of the Lord, and you can't resist the will of it. All right. Because you realize, certain things will happen in your life, and you try to stop it, or you try to, control it, but you can't control it. You can't control it, man, because it's of the Lord. That's what the Lord has ordained. All right, that's what that was the Lord's will. Like how Scripture says, there were some, created for destruction. All right, I'm gonna get that as well, which is in Romans 9, I believe. But let me see if I can bring this out in the KJV. See what it says there. Give me a second. This is Jeremiah 9 and verse 23 in the KJV. I think it was Slovakia. This is Jeremiah 10 and verse 23, Slovakia. In the KJV, it says, "O Lord, I know that the way of man is not in himself. It is not in man that walketh to direct his steps." All right, so it's not of us, our ways, our past, our purpose. We can't choose, all right, what we want to do and just do it. All right, we may choose what we want to do, but that doesn't mean it's gonna go through. Doesn't mean we're going to do it. All right, and I'm gonna get this as well. This is Proverbs 20, verse 24 says, "A man's going are of the Lord. How can a man then understand his own way?" All right, so man's going is of the Lord, Yahweh Shai. All right, everything you do in this world was ordained, all right, and predestined by the Lord. All right, it was the Lord's will for you to do that. It says that debunks the whole free will thing, man. Cause Jake think they have free will. Oh, I can do what I want. I can be who I want. I can have whatever I want. Nah, man. Now, if the Lord allows it, okay, but ultimately you can't just do whatever you want, man. There's no such thing as free will when it comes to the scriptures, man. It's really of the Lord's will. It's Yahweh's will. All right. Now it goes on. It says, Proverbs 16 and verse 1 says, the preparation of the heart in men and the answer of the tongue is from the Lord. So the preparations, all right, of the heart is in man. You know, you can prepare, you can, set yourself up for these certain things and, plan this out. But the answer of the tongue is from the Lord. All right. The Lord gives you, the right way, the right answer, the right things that you need and not what you want. All right. You may prepare for one thing, but the Lord said, nah, this is what you need. All right. Now the NLT says we can make our own plans. All right. You can make your own plans, your own preparations. But the Lord gives the right answer. All right. So the Lord gives the right answer, man. It comes from the Lord. Now I'm going to grab this and I'm going to close out with the scripture. This is Romans 9. I think it's 19. It says, Romans 9 verse 19, thou wilt say then unto me, why doeth he yet find fault? For who hath resisted his will? Nay, but, O man, who art thou that repliest against Yahweh? Shall the thing formed say to him that formed it, why hast thou made me thus? All right, so who can resist the Lord's, will, man? All right. The Lord created us. The Lord is the creator, man. All right. So for the creation to tell the Lord, the creator, hey, I don't want to be this. All right. It's straight, stupidity. All right. Because if the creator made you like this, that's what you're supposed to do. That's your job. That's what you were created for. All right. So we all were created for a particular, all right, purpose for each one of us. All right. We all were created to do. So we can't just tell the Lord, hey, I don't want to do this. Nah, bro. The Lord's you're going to have to do it. Everything you do is going to lead up to you doing it. All right. So have not the potter power over the clay of the same lump to make one vessel unto honor and another unto dishonor. All right. So the Lord, being the potter, he has power over the clay. We being the clay, the Lord made us. The Lord created us. All right. So he has the power to create one vessel unto honor. All right. And to beauty. And, that's what it's supposed to be. All right. A vessel created to be honored. All right. A vessel created, for praise, and beauty. All right. And then unto another dishonor. All right. So you can create something else to dishonor. All right. It says in NLT though, it says when a potter makes jars out of clay, doesn't he have the right to use the same lump of clay to make one jar of for decoration, beauty, and another to throw garbage into, trash can, So he has the power to do that. The Lord has the power to make you, a vessel, for salvation, for rulership, and then a vessel for destruction. All right, which Esau is that vessel created for destruction. Okay, which our people also, they're gonna have to suffer, destruction, but they're gonna be able to rise back up into the kingdom again. All right, so there's ultimately just vessels created to be rulers as well, man. All right, to be in the Lord's kingdom. All right, all Israel is going to be able to reap the Lord's kingdom, man. The Lord's going to put us back in our right spots, the right places. So those vessels was created for honor. Israel was created for honor, for rulership. But Esau Edom was really created for destruction, to be destroyed. That's where it goes into. It says, what if Yahweh willing to show his wrath, to make his power known, endure with much long suffering the vessels of wrath fitted to destruction. All right. So, the Lord endured, with his long suffering, the vessels of wrath fitted to destruction. All right. So it was vessels that the Lord created that was fitted for destruction, and he has to endure it until it's time for them to be destroyed. All right. And it goes in the NLT. It says, in the same way, even though Yahweh has the right to show his anger and his power, he is very patient with those on whom his anger falls, who are destined for destruction. All right? So the Lord is patient. The Lord is waiting. The Lord, waiting for the right time, the perfect time, because the Lord's time is always perfect. All right? It goes on. It says, and that he might make known the riches of his glory on the vessels of mercy, which he had afore prepared unto glory. And let me get this NLT real quick. I'm going to break both of them down for the sake of time. It says, he does, in the NLT, he does this to make the riches of his glory shine even brighter on those to whom he shows mercy, who were prepared in advance for glory. So the Lord does this to make known the riches of his glory upon those vessels that he will show mercy unto, which is Israel. All right. And, he will give us, prepared us for the glory, But, Lord willing, this lesson was edifying to the hopeful elect. I want to give all praises, glory, and honor to the Lord Yahweh Bahashem, Yahweh Shai Bahashem Kakadash. Once again, peace and blessings to the hopeful elect and the ones listening in. I want to give the bonus to elders and apostles, great millstone, who teach you well. Peace and blessings. Shalom Akim.